Welcome back to Disc Golf Valley Tips and Tricks, and today we're going to be taking a look at Lakeside with our brand new account. Having selected and purchased a few key discs to get started in this series, we're going to walk you through, if you're a brand new player to Disc Golf Valley, how to get a jump start in the game. And so if you have not seen the 2 or 3 videos prior to this, maybe just jump back on this YouTube channel and find the playlist. Check out those first 3 videos to get an idea of what discs we purchased. I guess we could take a quick look at our collection. Basically, it's the Zeus and Luna, also the starter pack from Disc Golf Valley, as well as the 10-speed and the 5-speed. That's also in the, that's in the Go Pro panel. So pick up those discs and follow along and get a good jump start on Disc Golf Valley. And I think what we'll do first is go to our practice mode and check out Lakeside with our new discs and see how we do. All right, this first hole is actually quite aceable if you have the right discs. I'm not sure if our 10 speed has enough distance to get there, but let's give it a try. It's always worth a try. And see how we do. Well, that kind of looks like it might have the distance. Let's try that again. Maybe move it over just a little bit, put a little bit more of an anhyzer on that. And see, that goes up so high. Well, I don't want to take your time trying to demonstrate an ace here when you can practice on your own. Let's try bringing this down a little bit. And well, that's getting close. You can see it might be possible, so you might want to spend a little time practicing that. But let's not waste our time on that today, and check out some of these other holes. At any rate, this is a very easy birdie. If you can't get the ace, you probably will get the birdie for sure, especially if you're using that PD 10 speed, because wherever it lands, it's probably going to land close to the basket, and wherever it lands, it's going to stick. Okay, let's move on. And, okay, this hole. This hole is actually quite easy to eagle when you have the right discs. I think we can manage with what we have. I believe the 12 speed here will put us in a pretty good position to get an eagle. Now check out the wind. It's quite a strong wind, so we need to be careful what we do here. And up and over. Yeah, that's not too bad. Oh, stop rolling. Okay, but that should be fairly easy to come back. 11 meters. In fact, we could probably toss that in, but just to be safe, we'll throw it in. And at this distance, 11 meters, that's not going to ride up too much, even though it is a 3-speed wind. And so we're in for a nice eagle. Let's maybe do it one more time. You might get a little different wind condition. And yeah, it's the opposite direction. It's only a 2-speed, so it's not going to affect the flight of the disc that much. But when it's going the opposite direction, we probably would not give this much of a hyzer like we did last time. Probably more something like this. And that should bounce into place. Close enough. So, easy eagle, if you have the discs. If you're just starting out with freebie discs, it might be a while before you can eagle that. And so if you're starting to get frustrated, go get some discs. Here, let's use the 5-speed. It's enough to get you there. This vey might be a little bit short than some of the 5 speeds that I usually use on this hole, but it should make it. If it was a 3-wind going against you, you might want to disc up a little bit, because that barely made it. But some of the later 5 speeds that are available these days, it will even go past the basket. Next hole. Oh, okay, here we are. This is actually a hole that if you have the right wind conditions and have the right discs, you can get an albatross. This will probably be the first hole, or let me put it this way. This will probably be the hole where you get your first albatross. And it is possible with the Zeus. You have to be a little bit careful because it has a nice bounce to it. But we'll show you how you can do that. But when the wind is going in this direction, left to right at a 2-speed, I would be a little hesitant to try it with the Zeus to get the albatross. So we're going to do the layup round. We'll go to the right first, and we can do that with our PD disc. And once you're over here, it's just a matter of grabbing that PD again. And I would aim it quite a bit to the right of the basket, because it's going to fade around. And so we want it to fade around right to the basket. Something like that. And then here we can just toss this in. And that gives you a nice eagle. So it really helps when you're 3-starring, going for your 3 stars, to have a couple of eagles like that in your back pocket, because there's 1 or 2 holes where you might lose a point or two, get a bogey. You'll see those coming up when you're first starting. All right. Oh, I was going to show you the albatross route. Okay, here's what we can do. Let's just arrow out of this, hit retire, and go to the Lakeside, and I think it's hole number 4. Yeah. Okay, we've got a 2-speed in the right direction, so let's go for an albatross. And what I usually do is just move this over so it's going into the right direction. Usually like to slide this over so there's no danger of hitting the sign. And we change it from forehand to backhand. And again, let's put it quite a bit to the right of the basket. Maybe even down a little bit into the lake. And even put just a little bit of an anhyzer on that. And let's hope that this Zeus can make it. That still fades quite a bit. And look at that bounce. That's just a little bit further away from the basket than what we would like. To really do well on getting the albatross, you need a disc that has the distance but doesn't bounce. But we might be able to come back and get our albatross on this. 40 meters with my regular throw-in fuse isn't so bad, but still struggling with this fade to figure it out. Sometimes it fades and sometimes it doesn't. But let's see. Get down, get down, get down, get down. Oh. I don't know if that's the first time you've seen that, but sometimes the disc will land right on top of the basket. And I kind of think you should get an extra point for that. Well, gain a point, go down a point, but you do actually gain a point. And so we're still stuck with the eagle. Let's see if we can't do it one more time and show you that albatross. Wind's going in the opposite direction for this Zeus, but it's only a 1-speed. We might be able to make it, and it might actually just hit the bank nicely and not bounce so much. So let's try it out. Yeah, it makes it, and still bounces quite a bit. But not quite so far this time. Oh. See, that's a little heavier, I think, than what I'm used to. I need to learn to compensate for that. That's better. All right, so you see how it can be possible. And especially as we get some better discs, that'll be an easy albatross, as long as you don't have the wind working against you. All right, next hole. Oh, here's an interesting hole. There's an island in between that you almost always have to land on to kind of lay up to the basket. If you have a strong wind behind your back, if you have a long distance driver, you can make it to the, I guess would be the mainland, and then pull off an easy eagle. But for most wind conditions, you just have to lay up on that island. And the 10 speed here will be fine, and you don't have to worry about these branches hanging down. There's no collision there at all. We'll wait for this boat to go by, because if you hit the boat, that is a collision. I think you actually get some bonus coins if you hit it. I'll leave you to figure that one out. Okay, let's just, as a trial, check out this and see if I'm right that there's no collision in these hanging branches. Oh, there is. Okay. I guess we better try and avoid those. I've never hit those before. I guess I always do try and avoid them a little bit, but I've never hit them, so I thought, hey, there's no collision there. But you can bring it down to about here and pull it straight back, and you'll be fine. Unless you have a strong wind behind you, and then that 10 speed will go into the lake. All right, and so from here, it's 64 meters. And with our PDF, there's a possibility of getting this for the eagle. And the thing about this hole is that there seems to be some magnetic force there that pulls discs to the right, even if you've got a disc that fades. I don't know what the programmers have done here to mess with our minds, but even with a sway that fades, I've found that you have to be to the left of the basket, because it's going to come back. But 64, let's bring it back to about here and see if we can't get this. No, but it's close. Let's pop this in and try one more time where we're not hitting the trees, and see if we can't get that coveted eagle. So again, the 10 speed. Little danger that you're going to go into the lake. And from here, you have about a 69. I think we could just try pulling it straight back. Yeah, look how that goes to the right. That probably would have been the right distance too. All right, I'll let you play with that and see if you can figure that out, how much you have to compensate for the magnetic force on hole 5 on Lakeside. I usually end up with the birdie. Maybe 10% of the time I get the eagle. But the pros are able to get it quite consistently, so there must be a way to figure that one out. Get used to the putter you're working with. Oh, here's an interesting hole. Number 6. The only way with the discs that we have that you're going to possibly ace this hole is the 7. And what you want to do is slide over on the mat there and bring your pointer up to about the top of this tree, and depending on the wind, put a little bit of an hyzer on that, and just hope that it swings around and it's way high. And the problem with trying for that is you can sometimes go out of bounds, and even if you're not out of bounds, you're back in the trees, and it's hard to come back and get your birdie. So I don't really like even trying with the the Explorer. Because I don't like getting a par on this. I want to get at least a birdie. And so what I recommend, especially as you're first starting out and trying to get your 3 stars, is just use your Sve, the 5-speed. There's no way that you're going to get an ace with the Sve, but you're at least going to lay up close to the base of the basket. You still have to put quite a bit of a hyzer on it for it to come around, because this is such a straight shooter disc, the Sve. So if you just pull straight back, you're going to go in the lake. But if you put quite a hyzer on it, it's going to swing around and land right at the base of the basket for an easy throw in to get your birdie. And it's not going to show as a birdie because we didn't reset, but that's a 2-stroke into the basket. So I'll let you play around with that. That's how you get your birdie. All right, hole number 7. And this is actually another hole that you can learn to ace. Don't have the best disc to work with here. The 5 is not going to be enough. And the 10 is probably too much, although it would land nicely. You could probably learn how to do that with the 10 just by holding back. Maybe only bringing it down to the second line. Let's see what that does. Yeah, I think you could work with that, and it does stick the landing. But you could also learn how to get your ace with the 7 as well here. Bring it for this direction and speed of wind. Put it to about there, and maybe just bring it down below the second line there. And a little bit of a hyzer, and let's see how it does. No, not enough. The thing about the 7 is that it tends to go off into the woods and sometimes even out of bounds. If you're not paying attention to the wind, you can get into trouble here. But fairly easy to come back on your second shot for the birdie. It's this next hole that's the challenge for people first starting out when they're working with a limited discs in their bag. There are some discs out there, some 5-speeds that just land this island hole very easily. But the 7 is a bit more of a challenge to learn. See if I can remember what we had to do with the 7. The 5, I've tried the Sve and it just doesn't make it. Even pulled straight back with a little bit of a wind behind you, just does not make it. And so we have to go with the 7. And because the 7 fades a lot, you have to bring and point it way out here somewhere, your aimer, and then just put a little bit of a hyzer on it and hope for the best. Nope, missed it. So I'd have to learn this all over again, and you might have to spend some time on your own figuring out the lie on this, so I don't take all of your time here, but let's try not pulling it back as far this time. And yeah, the nice thing about it is if you hit the island, you're going to stick it, unless you have some crazy skip disc. Don't ever try and shoot this with a skipper, a bouncer. Then you're going to bounce right off the island. But anything else is just going to stick the landing and the logs that are around the wharf. I like to call it a raft rather than an island. Try it one more time here, just to show you that you can learn this. I used to be pretty consistent with the 7. And sometimes you can actually ace it with the 7. So that's a nice bonus. But as you acquire more discs, you'll get some 5-speeds that make this hole a lot easier. But when you're first starting out, this may be the hole where you not only get a par, but you might get a bogey on this. And that's why you need and want to have a couple of aces, not aces, but eagles in your back pocket in order to 3-star this course. Or spend a lot of time practicing this hole with the disc that you have. You may not even have the 7. Although you should have an Explorer by now, just even if you're going the freebie route. All right, this is another challenging hole, but it is possible to eagle it. Not with the discs that we have right now, but down the road you'll be able to eagle this as you get more discs. Today we'll be lucky to get our birdie. But here's what you want to do is with your 5-speed, your sway. Now watch the wind. That's going to move that disc a little bit. Let's put it maybe front and center. And then take the sway again. What did I hit? Replay? Really? Sometimes you do that. You're going for the bag and you hit the repeat button or the replay button. Okay, I'm going to do that again. The sway. Okay, even though it says stroke 1 or stroke 2, it really is stroke 1, right? You're following me, right? And okay, so it's the sway again. Just sway, sway, sway to lay up to the basket. Watch out for the wind, because if the wind is right behind you, you need to hold back on your second throw here, otherwise you'll be off into the lake. And then the sway one more time. Now, it doesn't look like the sway would make it, right? It's 93 meters. And I see the wind is against us, so it might not even actually. Maybe we should switch to the 7, but we just don't like the way the 7 slides after you let it go. In a normal wind, it can end up in the lake on the other side of the island. But let's maybe just hold back on it a little bit. And nicely behind a tree, but we can slide around that tree there, and let's pop it in. Okay, I think we need to do this again, and because the wind was a little odd, and you're going to want to practice this hole as well in various winds. All right, this is a little better. And let's take our 5, get to the first island here. And when you have the right disc, you can actually go from this island to the island that has the basket for your second shot and throw it in for an eagle. But we do not have the right discs for that. The Zeus would make it, but it would bounce off into the lake. So we won't do that. We'll just do another sway up to the next one. Nicely behind a rock here. Well, with the 2 wind, I think it'll still make it. Let's try it. Whoa, just a little short. All right, but if you have positioned yourself better than I just did on the second island, and with favorable winds, the 5-speed will make it. Definitely from here, your 5-speed will make it. I think they've chopped down some trees on this island. All right, that's probably enough for the practice. Let's just go get our 3 stars on this. All right, here we go. Let's pick up our 3 stars and go home. And wouldn't it be nice to start out with an ace? Let's see if we can do it. The PD just does not want to give it to you. But it does stick the landing. I have to give it that. All right. Here we need to pick up our eagle. Ooh, that's bouncing off a little bit more than I'd like. I think we'll be okay. Hole number 3, take out your 5. You can point right down to the edge of the lake there and you'll be fine. Although this fay hardly makes it, so if you had a wind against you, I wouldn't try that. Just go with your Explorer till you get a better 5-speed for distance. This is a good 5-speed for throwing in. It's accurate and hardly fades at all. But as far as getting a little distance, you need another 5-speed that has the glide or some attribute that just gives it a little bit more. A few meters more is what you need on this hole to be safe. All right, we got a 1-speed. I think we'll go for it. With the Zeus, what you really want to do is just hit the bank in such a way that it doesn't bounce much. Ooh, look at that bounce. 33, we should be able to do that. I need to remember with this fay, it's a little heavier on these long distance ones. So I need to pull back a little bit more than what I usually do. And in it goes for the albatross. Nice. That sends us down our way. Sends us down on our way to the 380, 3 stars, a little better. All right, 10 speed. And see if we can't pull off another birdie here. That would be nice. Okay, 70. With the disc I usually use to throw in, 70 is a perfect distance to pull all the way back on the disc. But this fade, I think, goes an extra meter. So I'm a little nervous about pulling it back all the way. But let's do it. Look how much that turns to the right. At this point in the game, 4 years in, there's no way that the creators of the game would go in and fix that little drift there because everybody is used to compensating for that. Everybody would go crazy. Okay, let's use the Svei again. I think maybe I'll bring it up a little bit and put quite a bit of a hyzer on that so it gets around and lands nicely and doesn't go anywhere. Here, because it's up on a pedestal and we're shooting up, I aim a little bit higher than I usually do. Otherwise you'll hit the bottom rim. All right, what to do here? I guess we'll see what we can do with the 7. Ooh, we've got the 3 winds. Let's just go back with the Svei, I think. And it should make it with that 3 wind at our back. And let's just toss this in. All right, now the island hole. With a 2 wind against us. See, this is the tricky thing with the 7. Depending on the direction and speed of the wind, you have to, learn just where to place this. And then how much of a hyzer to put on it. There's so many variables here. Oh, come on, make it. Okay, we're good. And one last hole. I don't think I mentioned in the practice mode, if you do have the right disc, there is another line here where you can shoot, first of all, to this island right in the middle. And if you have a disc that has a right distance and a nice roll attribute, it can land that island and set you up for an eagle or even an albatross in some cases there. All right, but since we don't really have that kind of disc opportunity, let's go the other way. And one more sway. Why is it going so straight? I guess I shouldn't complain about a disc going straight. I love discs that go straight. Okay, do we try the sway again? 2-speed against us. Maybe we better do the 7 and just hold up on it a little bit. Or the 10 might be, because it has the roll attribute, might be the better disc of choice here, and then just don't pull it back all the way, maybe to the second line here. And that should come around and stick the landing, and we'll be good. In for a birdie. All right, there we have it. And boy, I got 250 coins for doing something. Complete Lakeside in challenge mode without landing in the water. Great. An extra 250 coins. By now, if you have followed me to this point and have been actually playing the courses, you probably have acquired a lot of coins as well, and could even purchase maybe another slot for your bag or some of the discs in the daily discs that are open. We'll maybe take a look at that. And because we've been gaining experience points, we now have reached level 1. And we have a choice here. We can choose any one of these discs. Let's take a look at what we have here. We have an accurate fuse. That might be a good one to pick. A windbreak river, and an explorer with no attributes. Okay, of the 3, I would pick the fuse. Now, you do have the option of trying a re-roll here, but you have to watch an advertisement. So that's up to you what you want to do there. But as you level up, you can choose. They give you 3. It's a random thing, but they give you a choice of 3 discs, and you pick the best one that you want. That might help you build up your bag. And I might say that until you reach level 20, you will not be presented with some of the better long-distance drivers. You're going to be limited. The computer's not going to offer you those until you get to level 20. So it's a good idea to try and level up as quickly as you can to get past level 20, and then you have more discs that are presented to you. But I think I'll just go with the fuse here. And then we get, because we 3-starred it, we get 3 more discs. A river, a fuse, another accurate fuse, and an explorer that's an accurate and extra turn. Well, we might consider putting one of those in the bags, especially since we do have some coins now to work with. Let's go to our collection. Let's retire out of here. Let's go to our collection and see that we even have a slot that we could add a disc to, plus we could get an extra bag slot by purchasing. And as you scroll down, you'll see that for 1,000 coins, you can purchase a putter pouch, and that would take our current putter out of the main bag and open up another slot. And you could also open up, I could purchase a mid-range slot because I have enough coins. Down at the bottom it shows you how many coins I have accumulated to this point. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to pick up 2 more slots. I don't know that we'll put any discs into them yet, but let's go ahead and get them. And now, as we go back to our collection, we see that we have a main slot and a utility slot here, and we can drag our putter, the Luna. Let's bring it down here, and then open up this and pop it in to the putter slot, and now that opens up that slot in our main bag. I might actually put the fuse in, the accurate fuse, and see how it plays against the windbreak Svei. In some scenarios it might be nice to have that alternative. And what else would we put into the remaining slot? We might as well put this Explorer that has the extra turn and accurate attribution. Okay, well, I think that does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you picked up a few tips. If so, maybe give us a like. That helps grow the channel. And if you haven't already done so, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time here at Disc Golf Valley Tips and Tricks. We'll see you next time.